With every new generation of Pokémon, a batch of completely new Pokémon forests to catch naturally come with it. And in every batch of new Pokémon, you of course have your starter Pokémon, your super common Pokémon, your new shinies that everyone's going to be hunting, but then you also have the extremely rare Pokémon that you are likely never even going to see, let alone actually catch. And naturally, as you might have suspected, because you all are just so smart, that is the topic of today's video. In today's video, I have gathered together 5 Pokémon that, for whatever reason, are so insanely unlikely to be encountered that you most likely are never going to be able to catch them in your lifetime. Now, there are a couple of things that I need to get out of the way and kind of lay the groundwork for before we get into it. Number 1, this is not a top 5 rarest video. These are just 5 specific Pokemon that are very rare that I wanted to highlight in this video just because I thought they were cool and interesting to talk about. Number 2, when we're talking about different kinds of odds, as in like shiny odds for instance, I'm going to be using the standard full odds as opposed to any kind of heightened odds like you would have with the shiny charm or some kind of other item. Third, I have calculated an exact likelihood in terms of a percentage of finding these Pokemon, and I am pretty sure I'm pretty much on the nose here, but at the same time, I am not a mathematician, so I very well could be a little bit off. So in advance, if that happens, I apologize, but nevertheless, you guys will be able to get a pretty good idea one way or another just how rare these Pokemon truly are. And then finally, while these Pokemon in particular are extremely rare, that doesn't mean they're the only Pokemon out there this way. Like I said, it's not really a definitive list, so if there are other Pokemon out there you feel are extremely rare as well, leave it in the comments below, and if you are so lucky to have caught any one of these Pokemon, definitely let me know below, because I would definitely like to know about it. With all that being said though, let's get into it. These are 5 crazy rare Pokemon in Sword and Shield that you are probably never going to catch. The first up is a big one, and that would be an authentic form, square shiny Synaesthesia. Now, I'm sure by now that all of you know the gimmick that is going on with Synaesthesia's design, as it has 2 different forms that are known as the authentic form and the forgery form. This would have to do with the teacup that Synaesthesia resides in, as most of them are forgeries, but every once in a while you have a very rare chance of encountering an authentic form as well, which makes the idea of a shiny version of this Pokemon just that much more rare. Additionally, the authentic forms of these Pokemon cannot be bred, so you can't heighten the odds or do it a different way. You have to find this Pokemon in the wild, which once again further limits you in terms of the different ways that you have to find this Pokemon in the first place. From what I've been able to gather on the internet, the likelihood of encountering an authentic form Synaesthesia is a 1% chance, and then from there, in order for it to be shiny, you have a 1 in 4,096 chance because we are working with the standard odds. And lastly, in order to get the square shiny on top of that, you have a 1 in 16 chance from there, which actually I've got to clarify because as of right now, this is kind of flip-flopped where you actually have a 15 out of 16 chance to get a square shiny and a 1 out of 16 chance to get the star shiny thanks to a programming quirk. So keep that in mind as we go along here, but the idea is that the square shiny is supposed to be the rarer one. And with all of that taken into consideration and boiled down into a single percentage, the odds of finding an authentic square shiny Synaesthesia under these circumstances are a 0.000000, that's 6 zeros I believe, 125% chance of actually having this Pokemon just appear to you in the wild, which once again, by the way, is the only way you can get it. I would say that this is definitely the premier rare Pokemon to find and catch in Sword and Shield, but there are also several other Pokemon that are worth their salt in terms of rarity within the games as well. The next one we're going to talk about here is in a little bit different of a format, but it's definitely really interesting and a rare occurrence nevertheless, and that would be any kind of Pokemon joining you from Pokemon Camp, particularly Pokemon of the 1% encounter rate. In case you didn't know, there is actually a method of obtaining Pokemon in Pokemon Sword and Shield within the Pokemon Camp feature. On very rare occasions while spending time in Pokemon Camp, a wild Pokemon is actually capable of joining your camp and asking to join you on your team, which will allow you to obtain the Pokemon officially. As much as I tried to search for a specific odds of this happening, I genuinely could not find anything online that specified a specific likelihood, and frankly there are hardly any accounts of this occurring online at all, so regardless of any kind of odds, this just goes to show you how unlikely of an occurrence this truly is. If I had to guess, I would say that on the high end it's probably a 1% chance of happening, but it could be even lower, similar to shiny odds. And then if you're going for a Pokemon within this feature that is a 1% encounter, you obviously just have the odds stacked against you further from there. So if anyone out there is able to get a Pokemon from this kind of method, let alone a rare Pokemon, you have yourself a very rare Pokemon that is very unlikely to happen very often. Next, we're going to go back to the standard single Pokemon, and the next one I want to talk about would be a female square shiny Gigantamax Machamp. Now, I will say first and foremost that the square shiny is going to kind of be a running theme because obviously it just heightens the odds and makes them that much more rare. But even a female Gigantamax Machamp in and of itself is still a very rare sight to see. This is because the Gigantamax forms have an encounter rate of just 5%, which is pretty low already, but additionally, Gigantamax Machamp can only be found in a single location within the Stony Wilderness. From there, Machamp is only a female 25% of the time, so even with just those odds stacked together, you're looking at a pretty rare Pokemon, not even considering the shiny odds. But once we factor in those shiny odds and melt it all down, you have a 0.0 with 6 zeros, 15625% chance of encountering a female square shiny Gigantamax Machamp. This is a little bit more likely to find than the authentic square shiny Synaesthesia, granted. However, another wrinkle into the rarity of this Pokemon is that it is exclusive to Pokemon Sword. So the real challenge here is going to be to get yourself one in Pokemon Shield where it does not occur. If you can do that, then you have pulled off something truly magnificent. The next one on the list is another kind of different sort of pick, but I thought it should be mentioned nevertheless, and that would be all 70 forms of Alchemy. Now, for the most part, this one doesn't really have to do with any kind of odds or anything like that. This one is more so a matter of a true test of determination and willpower, and the time on top of that it's going to take to get the massive amounts of forms that this Pokemon has. Alchemy itself has 63 different variants with 7 different shiny forms on top of that, so not only is it going to be extremely crazy to get those 63 regular forms in and of themselves, but you're also going to have to deal with the shiny odds for those 7 extra shiny forms. Additionally, you also have to hunt down the several sweet items that you have to give Milcery its pre-evolution in order to evolve into these different forms, and then you have to do the victory pose as well, which can vary the form of Alchemy you get depending on the length of the spin, whether or not you're spinning clockwise or counterclockwise, and whether or not you're doing the spin in the daytime or during the night. Once again, this one makes the list just because of the sheer size of the task itself, and frankly, most people are not going to go to the trouble of getting all 70 forms of Alchemy, but I know there are some out there that are crazy enough to do it, and because for the most part you don't have to deal with those pesky shiny odds, I'm sure eventually someone will do it, so if you have officially done it, be sure to let me know with a comment below. And finally, the last Pokemon we're going to be discussing in this video would be Galarian Corsola, once again of the square shiny variety. Now, I have decided to include this one on the list because I have discussed with several people who have told me just how hard and frustrating it can be to find a Galarian Corsola in the wild, and rightfully so because it only has a 5% encounter rate with a lot more going for it as well in terms of its rarity. Unlike some of the other Pokemon on this list that rely solely on the odds of finding them for their rarity, there is a lot of timing that's involved with finding a Galarian Corsola as well, because not only is it exclusive to Pokemon Shield, but you can only find it in one location, the Giant's Mirror in the wild area, and you can only get it in that location within one weather condition, and from there, you only have a 5% chance to find it. So overall, your timing has to be just right, and you've got to have a little bit of luck as well if you're going to find this Pokemon. But then, of course, just to make things all the more rare, we add the aforementioned square shiny odds on top of that, and you get a 0.0, once again with 6 zeros, 625% chance of finding this Pokemon with just the odds in and of themselves, not even factoring in all the weather conditions and other things like that. Ironically, in terms of the percentages, this Pokemon has the highest likelihood of being found of the Pokemon that we actually covered in this video, but it is still a ridiculously low number of being found, and once again, you've gotta have the luck of finding it within the right conditions, and if you want that extra challenge because it's exclusive to Shield version, grab yourself one in Pokemon Sword, and you will have yourself a truly, truly rare Pokemon. And there we have it, everybody. Those were 5 insanely rare Pokemon in Sword and Shield that you are probably never gonna catch. Now, ultimately, like I said, this is just for fun. It's not a definitive list. There are obviously way more rare Pokemon than just this out there, and by the off chance that you have caught one of these or have caught some other kind of crazy rare Pokemon, definitely let me know in the comments below and leave a like if you enjoyed the video. You can also subscribe if you're new for more Pokemon content all the time, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you can do so by checking out my Pokemon remixes on Spotify and giving my Pokemon Cardinal project a watch if you haven't yet either. Both of those are insanely appreciated. With all of that being said, I'll be back on Tuesday with another video, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can know as soon as it goes live. And with all that being said, I love you guys very much, and until the next one, as always, I will smell you guys later.